how's it going, everyone? Saints fan here. Welcome back to another GTA 5 video. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I came across recently that I thought was pretty intriguing. So as you can tell from the title, it's a DLC concept. It's called the West Coast Classic, and it's actually quite old. At least the guy who came up with it, he posted on the forum on August 23rd, 2015. So that's actually a few months before the Lowriders DLC came out. The reason I want to discuss this with you guys is to, one, obviously show you guys what the guy came up with. It's actually pretty incredible. But two, I wanted to show you guys the similarities that I saw when I read through this compared to the Lowriders update. Some people always complain how Rockstar never listens to the fans and all that, but this is probably some of the strongest proof we have of that. So I'll take you guys through this. We'll start with like the description of this idea that he had. So GTA 5 obviously being set in Los Santos, which is based off of the real-life city Los Angeles. He says, we cannot talk of the West Coast without thinking of the lowrider cars whose suspension systems is altered so they can move up and down on their wheels. The lowrider cars are showy and custom and do not aim for speed. In addition to the vehicle customization, there's a dress code which denotes characteristics of this culture. Cashmere scarf patterns, baggy long sweatshirts, upside down caps, significant tattoos, all of which are not in GTA Online, even though LA is the birthplace of this urban culture. The first thing we're going to get into is the vehicles. So I'll go ahead and put up the pictures and all that on the screen. The description says, changing vehicles is an important aspect in the urban culture of the West Coast. Having a nice car is a symbol of wealth and freedom. This DLC, we imagined, would bring a lot of new tuning workshops to GTA Online. Among them, we think it would be interesting to add stickers to certain vehicles, flames, or various forms for greater freedom of customization. Wealth will in turn be embodied by golden rims and golden grills. He also says that this DLC would basically be useless without the hydraulic suspensions, which were in San Andreas. The DLC will also include a number of new vehicles, including the impressive PMP 800, with its big grille and suicide doors opening system. So as you're seeing in the pictures, these concepts, he has the golden grills and the golden rims. Now we have chrome rims. I don't think you can paint them gold, but they're not actually gold. Golden grills would be pretty cool though. The PMP 800, man, that would be a really badass car to have come back, especially, you know, since it was a really popular one in GTA 4. And you can see some of like the livery ideas that they had for some of these cars. Obviously, you know, Rockstar came up with their own. But like I said, since I wanted to compare this to the Lowriders DLC that came out, it's really interesting, man, how much Rockstar took from this concept. Now, I don't know if they already had their ideas or what, but like I said, I thought it was pretty intriguing that they were really similar. Also, once I'm done talking about the stuff in this concept and comparing it to the Lowriders 1, I want to talk about Lowriders Part 2. So, getting into some of the weapons. Some of these we already have. The machete, the Tech 9 pistol, which is actually kind of crazy considering, like I said, this concept came out like 2 months before the Lowriders DLC came out. He also has the plumbing pipe, the cleaver, the MP5K pistol, and then a spray bomb, which I'll get into in a second. He also said it would be nice to be able to buy the Molotovs at the gas stations, which I totally agree with. Now, getting into the main part of this DLC and the reason that it caught my eye, so this is the part that would basically change the way the game is played. So I'll put a few pictures on the screen, and this is how in-depth he goes. You would be able to join one of the 4 gangs in the game, either the Lost, the Vagos, the Ballas, or the Families. Each of them have their own colors, obviously. And depending on which gang you join, that's what your minimap blip would be, as you can see here. The only problem now, at least with the VIP stuff, the VIP changes your color, so, you know, they'd have to work around that if this was to ever happen. But his description about how this gang stuff would work, he says for starters, gang attacks would be revamped, so to speak, and they would now work in waves similar to the survivals. However, there would only be a maximum of 4 waves, and if you do survive all 4 of the waves, then you would get the police on you to make it more realistic. He also says that once you join a gang, you would have like a contact with them who would basically introduce you to the gang life and some of the activities that you could have, such as you could tag enemy territory, fly enemy cargo, winning a lowrider contest, killing an opponent gangster, or even survive an enemy attack. All of this stuff which would increase your gangster reputation, so to speak. And there would be certain things that you can achieve in that crew, such as, I don't know, let's just say a certain vinyl or a certain gun, or I don't know, some sort of goals to achieve by getting your gangster rank higher, similar to how crew ranks work. One interesting idea he had would be these tag bombs. And as you can see in these pictures here, basically whatever crew I guess you're in, it would like tag the wall with like GTAF for life or GTAF or die or whatever your crew name or your crew clan tag would be. I thought that was a pretty cool idea, although I don't know how that would work exactly in online, because I mean I would assume like after a certain amount of time they would have to disappear. But that's what he had for the gameplay, and honestly, that gang idea, like, that's actually really, really cool. Like, the whole surviving the waves, especially if it's in free mode, and you can see in the mini-map, like, the purple dots, they're obviously a different gang than the people trying to attack. Similar to how the VIP stuff enhanced free mode, this would totally do that. Now, getting into the final thing, the clothes, this is where some of the stuff in the Lowriders DLC gets really similar. The first stuff that he starts with are some of the hats, and I would totally want these, especially for Fashion Friday. You got the hats with the bandana underneath it. Then we move into the bandana with the tied bandana on top, I guess. And we already have the bottom one that covers your face, so I mean, that probably wouldn't be too hard to implement. And then we get into these jackets, and these jackets, well, maybe not these specific ones, but with the Lowrider DLC, definitely added a bunch of these varsity jackets to the game. And then we get into some like sports jerseys, which if I remember, I think the Lowrider DLC added some new sports jerseys. Well, it definitely added those like bigger shirts, like the ones that hang, I guess, a little bit more. And then here you have the denim shorts, and then he also has special crate t-shirts, I guess. For accessories, here's some of the chains that he came up with. And I know the Lowriders update definitely added a ton of chains to the game. Maybe not these specific ones again, but I just thought it was pretty interesting how much Rockstar took from this concept and actually implemented in the Lowriders DLC. I mean, the clothes, some of the chains, obviously the car, like all the hydraulics, the different custom shops, the vinyls and all that. So for the negative people out there that are like, Rockstar never listens, I mean, after seeing this, it's hard to say they don't, because at the time, a lot of people posted this and tweeted them and everything. So they obviously saw it, and it appears they took a lot of ideas. And translating that into Lowriders 2, I wanted to talk about some of the stuff they didn't include, like that gang idea in free mode. One of the big complaints that I saw with the Lowriders DLC was that there was just nothing to do after like a few days, at least with the Executives update. Like, when I go into GTA Online, playing stuff as a VIP is actually pretty fun, and it expands what you can do in the game. It gives you more longevity, because with a lot of the previous DLCs, it's just, alright, you buy cars, you buy the clothes, okay, well, that's it, and I don't have anything to do for the next 3 weeks until the next DLC comes out. And like I said, that's what I saw a lot of after the Lowriders came out. It was cool, and there were a lot of people disappointed because the cars, you know, if you wanted everything to be upgraded, it'd be like 1.5 million, and at the time, not many people had that. Plus, you don't really see too many people nowadays riding around in Lowriders. It's something that, you know, unless you're doing a car show with friends or you're just showing off to friends, it's basically just stuck in your garage. At least that's how all mine are. Not that I'm complaining or anything, I'm just saying that's how it is. And if Rockstar took that criticism and is trying to make the Lowriders 2 DLC even better, what better way to do that than add a feature similar to the VIP stuff, but for gangs? Obviously, that's speculation, but I'm just saying, from a logical perspective, that's something that would make sense and a lot of people, I think, would enjoy. Anyway, that is it. Sorry about this being sort of a long video, but I thought it was a really interesting concept, and I wanted to share you guys the similarities that I saw with the Lowriders 1, and then how it could translate into Lowriders 2. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have any other ideas that you would like to add onto this, let me know as well. Drop a like if you did enjoy, subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and as always though, this is your boy Saints Fan, I'm out, peace.